Once again, welcome to Developer Rescue, and today we will learn about shared preferences in Flutter. So let's get started. So first of all, we will open Android Studio, and let us create a new project and hit on this next button. And I am giving the name of project as shared preference Flutter. And as we do always, we will remove this all extra code. So what does shared preference do? Shared preference is basically a small storage inside our mobile device in which we can store small data like strings and some string value, some integer value, or some boolean value. These kind of stuff we can share into the shared preference storage in our mobile devices. So in Flutter we will see how to implement shared preference and how to use shared preference and how we can use shared preference into our mobile application. What are the use cases? We will see all these things into this video. So as you can see that we have removed most of the unusable code which comes by default in the Android Studio whenever we create a new project. So let us go to Google Chrome and search for shared preference Flutter. Go to this first link pub.dev and copy this package. In my case it is 2.1.2. In your case, whenever you are going to search, just copy from this official site and again come to Android Studio and go to pubspec.yaml file and paste the dependency just below Cupertino icons dependency and hit pub get button. So our dependency has been added into this project. Now go to main.dart file and again go to browser and go to this example tab, hit this example tab and you will get this shared preference import line. This is used for importing the package we have added into our project. So this line is mandatory to add whenever you are using shared preference. In which file you are using shared preference, just add this line and again go to browser, go to readme tab and let us suppose we want to save an integer data. So we have to add two lines for adding any kind of data into our shared preference. Like let us suppose we are going to add an integer into our shared preference. So copy these two lines from here and again go to Android Studio. Before that, just make a button here. Elevated button, on press, handle the on press event and create child of this as text. Okay, so save value. So what we are going to create here is we will create a text field and let us made a container and inside container put this text field as child. also make a container for elevated button. And we have made containers for both. Let us give height and width. Again go to Google Chrome and search for get device height and width in Flutter. Copy these two lines. Again go to Android Studio and paste these two lines just below this build context. So we got width and height of these the device. These two lines are used for getting device and width of any device in which our application is going to run. Why we use that? Because we want our containers device to be variable, not fixed, so that any kind of overflow error can be avoided. So let us give height to this. Let us make parent of text field as center, because we want text field in the center of our container, first container, and add okay. So let us define a controller for this text, where value controller is equal to text editing controller. So what we are going here is, we will first of all insert any value into the text field, and we will hit this button to save the value into our shared preference storage. So just put a controller attribute here and pass value controller here. So use of this is that this controller will provide us the value of the entered value into the text field in runtime. Now comes the main part, which is doing code inside the on press event. Whenever we will hit this button, then we need the value to be saved inside the shared preference. So let us go back to shared preference documentation and copy these two lines. We are going to store a string value which will be entered into the text field. So copy this and paste it inside the on press event. Okay, so we have initialized the shared preference. Now copy this line for storing the string value and just paste it below this one. So this is the line used for storing string. We can also use this line for storing integer, for this for boolean value, this for double value, and this for list of string, this one. So first of all we will do this basic one. You can implement these things also, very simple it is. So just we are going to store string value here. So let us understand before implementing it. So first one is there we can see that there are two string values, but first one is used for key, which will be used to identify the value stored, and this is the actual string value which we are going to store. So we don't want to store start here, we want to store dynamic value which will be inserted in our text field. So just insert here value controller, which is the controller which are going to provide us the value from the text field, and fetch the value from this and convert it to string. Okay, so The value entered in the text field will be passed to this setString method of shared preference, and let us change the key of this also, value. So key of the value is value, which will be inserted into the text field, and okay, that's the whole code for storing the value, string value, into the shared preference storage. Now let us move on to the next part, which is fetching this value, because we always store a value to fetch that later inside our application. So let us make another class, name as another activity, another class. Okay, make a stateful widget and name it as another class. Some errors are coming due to unimported packages. Just import these packages by hitting the import line, and just do some work on the UI part. Again go to main.dot file and copy the media query height and width of the device and paste it just below the build context as we have done in previous class, and inside the container give the container height equal to the height of device and width equal to the width of device. And also as you can see, we have centralized the UI. Now make a column inside this center and give main axis alignment at center and cross axis alignment as also center, because we want all contents in center. Okay, now what we will do is we will also create a text here, which will be blank initially, value is and again create an elevated button. Some error is coming due to semicolon, just put here a comma, and also we have to add on press event here. Name this child text as fetch get stored value into shared preference, it means. And in on press event we will provide the code for fetching the value stored into the shared preference. Remember that key must be same. If we are fetching the value stored inside the whose key is value, then we have to provide the same key to fetch the same value. So always keep in mind this concept. So let us go to documentation again and see read data here. For reading string data we have to copy this line, so just copy this line and go back to Android Studio. Okay, and paste this line inside the on pressed. Okay, so here we are encountering some error in pref section, because here also we have to define initialize the shared preference. So again go back to main.dart file and copy this initialize initialization of shared preference and put it just above the on this prefs line inside the shared on press event. Error on await is coming because it is asynchronous, so we have to add async on press. Okay, here we are having some different key, so just copy this key from main.dart file because we want to fetch the same value. And name, we are also changing the name of a string which is stored already. So I am naming it as like fetched value. Okay, so our value is fetched. Now we have to utilize this value. Go back to documentation again. Go to our website developerrescue.com and come for this shared preference article. You can search here also shared preference, and here why we came here is to learn about the shared preference. So here we will just copy this value and we will define it at just inside the state. And we will remove final from that fetched value. If it is null, it is asking us for adding null check because this is nullable, so we have done this. Now let us open our emulator, virtual device, run this one. And once the device is visible, just hit the run button for running your code. It is taking some time, so let it take its time. You can again come back to our website developerrescue.com and you can see how the whole documentation of the shared preference, in which how efficiently we can store the data like strings, boolean values and other kind of values. Only small data can be stored here, and you can integrate the shared preference here. Okay, just come back to the Android Studio again. So our program is run successfully. Now what we can see is here our text field, we have to enter any value. Let us suppose I have entered 34. RR. Let us suppose we have entered RR as our value, and let us hit on save value. Okay, again go back to Chrome because we need some message for the success events. So let us go to Flutter Toast on browser and search for Flutter Toast, and copy this dependency and come back to again project and search for pubspec.yaml file and copy this dependency, paste this dependency just below the shared preference dependency, and hit pub get, and again go back to Chrome and copy this import line for importing the Flutter Toast package and paste it inside the both files, because we need to show the messages in both the files. Again come back to browser and copy this Flutter Toast paragraph code snippet. Again come to Android Studio and go to main.dart file. Inside the on pressed of save file button, save value button, and hit for and paste the code and put the message file saved, value saved successfully. Okay, so whenever this will be successfully saved, after that we will show this message. So again save, again type some value into the text field and now hit save value. So it's not showing us the toast, so because of the API level, because in newer devices this toast does not come. So just cross this button and cross this emulator, and again open this and open the small device one. This is the old emulator, old API level, so in this toast message will work. Okay, now run our project. Now again type some values in the text field for saving it inside the shared preference. Okay, so our value is saved successfully inside the, what we can say, inside the shared preference storage inside our device. Now navigate to the other screen. Again go to browser and search for navigator Flutter. Copy this line and paste it just below the toast, and change the file name, which is another class. Now again run the project and type some value, some string inside this, and save this value. Okay, so our value is saved and we have reached the second screen. another screen, another class screen. So just remove this text and copy that toast code snippet and put it just inside the on pressed, and change this text and change it to our saved value is just copy this shared preference code and put it above the Flutter. Fetched value. And again hit this button. Again we fill some value inside the text field and hit save value. Okay, now we can see we have navigated to another screen and our value is also saved inside the shared preference, and therefore we will get the value. We will check if the value is saved inside our shared preference or not by clicking this get stored value button. So it is giving us some text editing value controller. Okay, so we have made some mistake in fetching the value in our main.dart file. So just do it like value controller dot text dot toString. Okay. Again type some value inside this and hit save value. Value saved successfully, and again hit for this. Our saved value is JS, the string which we have entered during saving the value inside our shared preference. So in this way we can save and we write and read data into our shared preference, and by adding this line like this one, we can put this line inside any button or inside the on press event of any button to remove all the entries at one time, or freeing up all the shared preference in one time from shared preference. So by this way we can use shared preference into the Flutter apps. And thanks for watching the video, and subscribe our channel and push the bell icon for more upcoming videos updates. Thank you.